American chattel slavery was a dark chapter in human history. It lasted for centuries, leaving an indelible mark on the nation. This essay will delve into the horrors of this system. We will uncover the meaning of chattel slavery and its devastating impact. Millions of Africans were forcibly transported to America. They were subjected to a brutal system of chattel slavery. This system treated human beings as mere property. Enslaved people were seen as commodities, bought and sold like livestock. Their labor was exploited for the economic benefit of their enslavers. The conditions under which enslaved people lived and worked were inhumane. They endured forced labor, toiling from sunrise to sunset. Physical abuse was rampant, with whippings and beatings used to maintain control. Enslaved women faced the added horror of sexual exploitation. The denial of education, healthcare, and basic necessities was deliberate. Chattel slavery gets its name from the word chattel, which means movable property. This term perfectly encapsulates the horrific reality of this system. Enslaved Africans were not seen as human beings with rights and dignity but as objects to be owned and controlled. They had no legal standing and could be bought, sold, traded, or inherited like any other form of property. The legal system in America during this period was structured to uphold and protect the institution of slavery. Laws were enacted that stripped enslaved people of any legal recourse or protection. The Fugitive Slave Act, for instance, mandated the return of runaway slaves to their enslavers, even if they had escaped to free states. This concept of human beings as property had devastating consequences for enslaved individuals. They were denied the right to marry, have families, or even keep their own names. Children born into slavery automatically inherited their mother's enslaved status, perpetuating the cycle of bondage across generations. Their labor, their bodies, and even their very lives were at the mercy of their enslavers. One of the most heartbreaking aspects of American chattel slavery was the systematic tearing apart of families. Enslavers often separated husbands from wives and parents from children, selling them off to different plantations or owners. This deliberate act of cruelty aimed to break the spirits of enslaved people and solidify the enslavers' control. The trauma inflicted by family separation reverberated through generations. Children grew up without the love and guidance of their parents. Parents lived with the constant ache of not knowing the fate of their children. The emotional and psychological scars left by this brutal practice continue to impact descendants of enslaved people today. Beyond the devastation of family separation, chattel slavery also sought to eradicate the cultural identities of enslaved Africans. They were forbidden from speaking their native languages, practicing their traditional religions, or celebrating their cultural customs. This cultural suppression aimed to strip them of their heritage and replace it with a narrative of inferiority designed to justify their enslavement. The legacy of American chattel slavery casts a long shadow over society today. Systemic racism and inequality from centuries of slavery permeate American life. Economic disparities, educational inequalities, and mass incarceration rates impact Black communities. Recognizing this context is essential to understanding the racial divide. We must learn about slavery, honor those who endured it, and dismantle oppression. Support policies promoting racial justice, economic equity, and equal opportunity. By understanding the past, we can create a just and equitable future. honor those who suffered by dismantling slavery's legacy and building a society where everyone is valued and free.